Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Sol Brothers, Solana's finest podcast, with my good friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in this exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to take you on the latest and greatest so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, man, Thursday, we're finally back. On Monday, we obviously had some streaming issues because Amazon decided to go kaput. But now I think we're streaming on Twitter. It's nice to have a bigger audience than just 4 people.
Learning, we got to expand our YouTube. So if you're listening to the podcast, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sol Brothers Pod. That's how you can find us on YouTube. And you'll find polished videos, long form, short form, whatever you need, with the latest and greatest technical analysis and everything in between when it comes to Solana and Solami and even political news and all that kind of stuff. So you know what we're talking about in these streams. Basically, you get the everything from the content on YouTube. So YouTube is the best place to consume Sol Brothers, really. So if you follow us on Twitter, thank you for that. But make sure to subscribe to YouTube. Now, with that being said, why the fuck should people listen to us? Well, because we do have a packed agenda today again. There's so much stuff to talk about. What are you most excited about here on this packed agenda? Is there any item that jumps out?
I think that the P token upgrade from SPL, released by Anzo Labs and repackaged as a Solana improvement document, is obviously going to be a very interesting topic to delve into. But also, there's always amazing things that are happening in the ecosystem. So let's jump right into it. You want to talk people through what we're going to be talking about today?
So on the agenda today, we do have, as already mentioned right now, some infrastructure upgrades to our sweet Solana blockchain, and it starts with the P token, which is a new token standard. So far, we only know SPL token standards. So we're going to talk a little bit about what the P token standard will bring to our ecosystem. There is also new, let's say, security updates or software that is available now as extensions for Solana devs. So we're going to talk about that. And then the keyword is Jet Streamer, a new product from Anza, which will accelerate things. Let's put it that way. We're going to talk about that as well. And then we have to talk about Gemini and their new Solana credit card. They have done a 48 hours streamathon, So they've been live for 48 hours. I think there was a break in between part 1, part 2, but huge live stream on the Solana main account with Gemini. And we're going to talk about Solana ETFs because we have news for you guys. Also, we're going to talk about Polymarket and what they're up to when it comes to Solana. And we also have to touch on Toli's little experiment that he's running right now. He's building something on Solana, and people saw it in GitHub, and they were like, what is happening? What is Toli doing? So we want to break that apart as well. And then we have some updates from Solflare, some new posts that they put out there. We're going to dive into their content a little bit SNS updates, and we're also going to touch on the FAF token a little bit more from Flash Trade, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to FAF, really. It's a packed agenda, Let's not fool around. Let's just fucking dive into it, because we got to start at a very important part of the pod.
Yes.
Which part am I talking about?
Well, of course, we have to dive into the coziest part of the podcast, Simon's technical analysis, where he shows us all the different lines and charts and where we might be going this week or the next couple of days at the very least.
Yeah, basically, I'm just drawing on my little chart here, just drawing some lines, and there's actually really funny memes when it comes to these charts where you basically a very good TA strategy is opening a trade and then finding reasons why your trade will play out, right? Like you're drawing some random support lines and you're trying to support the candle, right, with your support lines. But guys, that's not how it works. You can't fool the market. But let's take a look here at the 4-hour chart of Solana price. Right now we're at $188. So if you tuned into the last couple episodes, you might find that we're not really moving anywhere. We're kind of hovering around the same levels these days. But something happened in the past 2 days that I want to touch on, and I also want to quickly recap what's happening to Bitcoin. But I keep it short. So first of all, Solana is trading inside these 2 big channels that we are tracking since literally April 2025. So it's been a while, and we're kind of ranging, but we're ranging in an uptrend, right? So that's good. That's bullish. The lower support line is holding, and it is still holding. We got another attempt to break it, There was just yesterday So there was another few wicks that went all the way down to $177, which again is a test to the yellow support line that has been established from prior attempts to break it, and the 0.786 fib level from this larger wave 2 between what is it? Yeah, it's from here to the high in $250. It's the forget it. It's the wave 4 support band. Sorry, there's so many shit on my chart right now. I'm kind of losing it myself. So yeah, the wave 4 support is still holding. That is this green line here. And the yellow support line is holding as well. As long as we're holding these support lines, I remain very bullish. As soon as we break these, I will be cautiously bullish, because we do have another interesting indicator, which is also which one is it? The 50-week SMA, the yellow line here on this chart. As you see, I talked about this when it comes to Bitcoin before, because the Bitcoin price is also finding support at that 50-week SMA yellow line, right? So it's a very important moving average here that we have on our chart, because it has been providing
What
support.
does SMA stand for? It's something moving average with probably not something
simple moving simple. There's a simple moving average, there's an exponential moving average. So you have different ways of calculating the average price and drawing it on the chart. So yeah, if people want to understand how these calculations really work, actually it's really cool in TradingView itself. You can check out the EMA, for example, moving average exponential. Click on the little answer or question mark sign, and then you get a video breakdown, you get a definition of what the EMA is, and so on and so on. So we could do the same thing for the SMA, which is the simple moving average, right? So that's always a good move, or a good source really to understand, right, how these work and how they're calculated and so on, right? So if you really want to understand these things, that's how it works. Now, Solami did touch on the 50-week simple moving average as well. And we saw it breaking down as well before, but right now we're at this support here. This is the weekly chart, right? So keep that in mind. This year is April low, and right now we're in this up phase here. So this is basically the little yellow lines on my other chart that are holding right now. But you can also see that this yellow support line has provided support before. We broke down in April for quite substantially, and then we're going up again, right? Another indicator on this chart right now are the Bollinger Bands. You can also check these out in TradingView. The Bollinger Bands couldn't explain you how they exactly work, how the calculation works, but it's a really established indicator as well in traditional markets, in crypto as well. And you can see how the price always finds support as well at the ranges of these bands. So in the worst case, we might be testing fucking $105 or some shit. Like that is possible as well. Then we lose the wave structure that I have on my chart right now. But if we hold this line here, again, if we hold the 50-week moving average, if we hold the yellow support line, if we hold the 0.786, like this is a very crucial moment that we're in right now, and we need the bulls to step in. We need the bulls to step in to turn the price around. And maybe they are, maybe they are, because yesterday we touched on it for a third time. And again, we had, unfortunately, not a huge volume with this reaction, but a quite impulsive reaction to the upside. So what I'm looking at now is maybe one more retest here in this area where we are right now, because there's quite some resistance. So we maybe retest here, and then I want to see another push. We do need to break these important kind of areas here at the top. So you have here you have some resistance, I think, at these points. So we need to break through the 197. First, as a first target for this whole structure that I have here, which is a 1, a 2, and then a 3 to the upside. For this to be still valid, we need to break through the 197. So that's my target for the bulls. If we see that, very good indicator, $197. If we break below 177, we got to talk next week on Monday. We gotta see where we're going. But these are the facts right now. No financial advice. You do whatever you think is right here. But I hope this brings a little bit of clarity.
Yeah, Simon, I just want a little bit of a quiet weekend. I'd like to be able to go into my weekend and not worry about the charts fucking dumping. I would appreciate a pump, but would definitely like to keep it a little bit more quiet today.
We all do. We all do. Yeah, we need to. We can talk about it in an episode next week, maybe, where we can dive a little bit more into the macro and into the broader cycle state we're in right now. And because the question that everyone has on their mind right now is the top in, right? Or are we going to see another high? And if yes, when? So I have a lot of opinions and thoughts on that, and a lot of indicators that I could show. But it's too much for the TA element of today's podcast. So today we're just going to do the deep dive in the current situation. And then we can pick an episode in the next week. So we just zoom out a little bit and look a little bit into the broader market, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that really sustains price in the long term are the fundamentals, and Solana's fundamentals remain very, very strong. So the first thing that we want to talk about today is a new VS Code and cursor extension released by our friends over at Aki Blockchain. Aki Blockchain Strategy Security is a cybersecurity firm. So they've created this really, really nifty plugin. And essentially what it does is it automatically detects security issues in your smart contracts. And it allows you to visualize fuzzing coverage, which is something that Simon and I, or at least I, had to look up before this episode. What exactly is fuzzing, Simon?
You're brute forcing your smart contract to break. Essentially, that's what you're trying to do with fuzzing. Couldn't explain it better than that, really. But you're just trying to attack from a lot of angles with an algorithm to kind of find the vulnerabilities in your code. So usually auditing firms have a fuzzing department or a fuzzing product that they build that you can just plug in and use. Anything to add on?
Yeah.
Maybe you have a better.
No, I know that is a completely accurate description of what fuzzing is. So what's really nice is that this is going to increase the overall quality of the smart contracts on Solana. Obviously, do I think this is a silver bullet? Like, oh my god, now I don't have to hire cybersecurity firms. No, you still need to get your shit audited, but this should take you, at least a few steps into not getting your stuff hacked with the most basic of errors.
It's like a first line of defense kind of thing, I would say.
Right.
Like an easier way to and a lightweight and cost effective way to get a first security check on your smart contracts. I guess there's a lot of firms out there or companies that don't have the money to do the big audit yet, especially if you're a startup. It might be a good moment to explore some solutions like this. Auditing is really expensive, and you need it if you're a DeFi protocol, but it can be really expensive because these guys that do the audits, they know the leverage they have. Like they're sitting on the on the longer lever, like they can squeeze, and they do. They do an important job, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think fuzzing is a good way, especially for startups, to get started. What else do we have,
Yeah, actually, a really major update for our friends over at Anza. For those of you who are living under a rock and don't know what Anza is essentially a separate entity from Solana Labs officially, but quite frankly is headed up by Toli as well as Max Resnick and a bunch of wonderful developers, essentially Solana Labs employees. But of course, we're not allowed to say that. They work at Anza, and so and they truly do work at Anza. But at Anza, they're constantly trying to push new ways to make block space more efficient. And so the most recent initiative that they took is something called SIMD 0266, which is called the Efficient Token Program. And essentially what it does is it replaces the SPL token program that everybody knows and loves with something called a P token. And the P token is very noticeable upgrade from SPL because it uses approximately 98% less compute units in order to deliver on-chain instructions. Currently, if you look at the state of compute units on Solana, 10% of compute units on Solana are used for token program instructions. And so they found some really neat ways, some new conventions to reduce that block space from essentially 10% to zero. 98% reduction. So that's very, very cool. That, of course, pairs very nicely with the upgrades that we've made to block space in general, right? Like we have increased block space from 40 compute units to 100 compute units per block. So in addition to that, we are also freeing up another 10% of the existing block space because we have less instructions done on chain. More efficient ways of doing instructions on chain. So that's really awesome. I do have a couple of questions. Don't you have a couple of questions about what this means for SPL tokens?
I mean, okay. Well, I think I'm aware of what it means for SPL tokens. It means that SPL tokens are fucking outdated and slow, and not slow, but expensive. When I say expensive, I mean the amount of compute units they consume, right? Which is insane if you think about it, because SPL has been a good standard, right? Every token on Solana is SPL standard, but cutting CU usage by 98%, you said, right?
Yep.
That is a big number, right? You're basically getting rid of all the like what I've read is it frees up 12% more space, right? In each block for other apps. And I think this will make Solana as infrastructure that you build on feel much faster overall. It can boost the effective speed of DeFi apps that have, especially if you have complex token programs. It will make it feel 10x, 20x more faster, right? And just it frees up space on the blockchain.
What
questions do you have?
Well, do all existing SPO tokens migrate to P tokens, or are we still going to have SPO tokens living side by side with newly deployed tokens, aka the P tokens? That's my biggest question, right? Like, obviously that they've told us that the P tokens are backwards compatible. It's not like token extensions, which famously, one, did not really work, and two, did not work in the sense that not many people adopted them. And number two, basically unusable on many platforms, right? I don't have the list in front of me right now, but quite famously, what's his name? Dave from Etherfuse was complaining and saying that one of the biggest one of the biggest mistakes he made with putting bonds on chain is to do it through token extensions, because essentially for platforms that haven't integrated that tech, they cannot support Etherfuse's bonds products in DeFi. And so that's clearly not what's happening with P tokens, because they are backwards compatible. But I am wondering what's going to happen to existing SPL tokens like Solana, like Bonk,
I think you need to take a step back, because they don't have to migrate to P tokens. That's the phrasing you used. Imagine the standard SPL and P token to be the delivery service, the postal service of tokens, right? And right now,
it's not the token itself. I see. It's not the token itself.
So there's a cut between the both, right? So you're still sending the same letter in the postal service, which is an SPL token, but you're going to use a faster and cheaper postal service, which is the P standard. Now, if you issue new tokens on Solana, you can directly use the P standard instead of the SPL, right? Which I guess would make things even cheaper. I think that's how it's gonna work out. Like SPL as a standard is gonna run forever as backup, especially as all tokens are still SPL. They're gonna use the P token standard if everything goes through, and they will consume less CU. But new tokens that will be issued will directly do the P token standard, and will natively live on that postal service, right?
Okay.
Both programs handle all tokens on Solana.
Okay, so my framing of it was wrong. It's not like a new type of, not a new token type, but a new delivery type. Understood. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's not the only, innovation coming out of Anza just this week, Simon. And I think this just goes into our larger point that we make about Solana, which is that people who have their preconceived notions of what Solana was 2 years ago are super behind, right? The network continues to progress. And one of the new innovations coming out of Anza is something called Jetstreamer. And Jetstreamer is a tool that allows you to stream all Solana transactions and blocks since Genesis at a rate of 2.7 million transactions per second. Famously, developers hate, having to stream Solana's block history just because it's very slow and expensive. And of course, we've even covered other products that claim that they're able to go through Solana's block history in seconds or less. But this also seems to be a new tool that's being offered to developers that allows them to stream transactions on Solana at a much higher rate. Yeah, I mean that's going to be very good when you're looking at historical data.
Especially, I guess, again, take it all with a grain of salt, right? Like, we're just two guys that have no idea what they're talking about, but we might know more than you do if you're a listener. But take it with a grain of salt. So my question would be: is this good? I think it's especially good since blockchains grow up, right? They mature. They are like a fucking human, right? When they're born, 2020, when Solana was new, there was nothing in its brain, right? It was like brand new fucking empty disk. Now is already terabytes of data. I actually don't know. But there's like a lot of data on the ledger. In 10 years, it's going to be insane data if you want to retrace all the way back. So I think the older we get, right, the more Solana grows up, the more important it becomes to have tools like Jetstreamer. Do you think that makes sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. As Solana's block history gets more and more complex, more and more blocks, I mean, Jetstreamer is probably not even enough. We probably need Super Jetstreamer pretty soon, especially with all the usage on the network.
Yeah. 2.7 million transactions per second is basically possible through 2.7 million transactions per second is possible to retrace or to go through with Jetstreamer. It's pretty good. That's faster than Solana itself.
Much faster than Solana itself. Absolutely right, Simon.
Hell yeah.
And what's also really cool is we're getting our second credit card on Solana. Last week we covered the first credit card on Solana that's ever been launched. And now we have the new edition of the Gemini credit card, which is now available for the Salami blockchain. What makes this card very interesting is that you get SOL token cashbacks, and then you can choose whether or not you want to directly stake those SOL token cashbacks. Obviously, you were talking earlier that there is a literal 48-hour stream with the Solana Foundation and Gemini. And what can you tell us about Gemini the exchange, Simon?
I have never used it, so I'm not a really good person to talk about Gemini because the only thing I know is basically the same thing that everyone knows. It's an exchange. It's a SEX. You can buy crypto there. You can probably do other things as well on Gemini these days. I'm pretty sure they have staking, all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, they've been around since a long time. Winklevoss brothers have been, I think, behind. They're the brains behind it. They're the founders of Gemini. I think it's kind of an OG, right? Exchange. I think they've been multiple cycles. I've seen them being around. There probably was some drama in the past with Gemini. I think there were some stories here and there, but they're still here. They didn't break down. And now they're jumping onto the card game as every exchange.
I still remember how ridiculous Gemini seemed to me at that time, because famously the Winklevoss twins co-founded Facebook with Zuckerberg, and then Zuckerberg pulled a couple of moves, and I think it was forget what his name is. It's like Eduardo Saverin, as well as the Winklevoss twins sued him because they felt like they didn't get their fair share of equity. My understanding is they provided the initial capital because they come from money. They come from old money. With a name like Winklevoss, yeah, that kind of checks out. They're the type of Harvard College students that are on the rowing team, if that makes sense. If you kind of get what I mean. Yeah. But when they first, I think Gemini was actually the first sex account I ever created. That's sex with a C. And
so spicy. A lot of fuzzing there.
A little bit of fuzzing on OnlyFans. But this current stream that they have with Solana Foundation, I just want to share. They're raising money for charity. St. Jude's is a children's hospital in the United States that specializes in cancer research. Their goal was to hit $50,000. And it looks like they've raised $70,000. They said it's a 48-hour stream, but Austin is taking a nap, so he'll be back around 70.
You don't do that. Like when we do some streamathon at some point, let's just fucking pull through, or at least have someone take over. Like we're not gonna We're not gonna pull out a standalone screen and go to bed. Like,
Yes.
that's not a streamathon. Then you can also go offline.
Right. They also got they got another 5 hours left in their quote unquote streamathon, and their next goal is to raise up
Ooh,
to $150,000. And apparently he's going to go to China. That seems a little random, but sure, Austin, you do you, bud.
Yeah, he did a lot of. He did. I was joining a little bit here and there. He did a lot of random shit on the stream. Like, I don't know. Like, they did the hot ones at some point. He wrote something on his forehead. Like, they did a bunch of stupid stuff.
Sure.
But for the cause, I mean, it's a good cause.
Yeah.
They raise a lot of money, so that's good.
And a topic that we can't stop fucking talking about, and is actually the title of today's podcast, is that in Hong Kong, we have the world's very first Solana spot ETF approved. And it's going to begin trading on October 27th. Hong Kong continues to be a global hub of crypto innovation, most notably for stablecoins. Hong Kong is one of the few governments in the world that is actively giving out stablecoin licenses, which is why you see so many regulated players, launching their stablecoins out of Hong Kong. And they are the first in the world to have a spot Solana ETF, which seems a little crazy to me. We talk about ETFs so much in ETF filings, and we even have like staking ETFs, so it can get a little confusing about what the different distinctions are. Yes, we already have SSK, which is the world's first staking Solana ETF, released by our friends over at RecShares. But now, yes, we have our first spot ETF, so basically just the price of SOL itself. No additional yield on top of that. And yeah, trading was going to begin on October 27th. Are you excited? Does this feel like old news? Like, hot or not? What are you feeling?
It's not. No, I'm not excited. The reason is because it's just, we've been talking about it for so long. So kind of, now it's kind of dull. And then B, it's not the big boys yet. We need the US guys. We need Vanek. We need the ones, Fidelity. They've been, filed since half a year or some shit. I don't know, even longer. I think once they all pull through, it might be a bigger splash than some of these pioneers like Hong Kong issuing a spot ETF. It is a good start, though.
I mean, to be fair, Hong Kong's not a bad market either. They are in the Chinese-speaking world. Obviously, they are one of the finance centers of China. So, right now, Lily Liu is he's like, stop with the Trump impersonations. Nobody wants another fucking Trump impersonation, fair enough. But Lily Liu is actually the president of Solana Foundation, is in China as we speak. I believe she's in Shenzhen. She's doing something called, I don't think there's an official name for this, but all of my Chinese friends on Solana have been calling it the Solana Tour. So yeah, there is a Solana Tour in 4 different cities, starting in Shenzhen, passing through Beijing. I forget what the third city is, and it ends in Hong Kong. At the end of this month, she's going to be in Hong Kong. And so what she's trying to do is rally Solana support from different institutions and I think regulators as well. So that maybe we might see some pretty massive whale buys from China into this ETF.
We can tell something is cooking, right? Because we have the official Chinese Solana name now, Solana. So this one is ready to go. So we have the Solar community over there, fairly active. Most people don't know, they're in the shadows. But I think it's a fairly big Solana community. Imagine it to be like the super team China, I guess. I don't know them. They're in the shadows. I have never talked to one of them.
They're not in the shadows, dude. We just don't speak Chinese.
That's pretty much what I mean. That's why I literally know 0 person there. I went to this side event from Solar and I was like, hello. Said hi to some random people. I know a few, obviously, from our friends, right, that are Chinese, like the coolest boys and so on. But a lot of them are also, I think, kind of Hong Kong, whatever you say.
Hong Konger.
Hong Konger.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is again different, I guess. So, but yeah, anyway, bottom line, a lot of things are happening in China. We have the president of Solana Foundation going there. We have the CMO of the Solana Foundation, also heading over there. I think he might be there right now as well. We have the new Solana name in Chinese, so things are cooking. Things are cooking. I think it's good.
I think the world would really benefit from having some more competition for Solana outside of the United States. Not everything is about America, even though I do love the US of A. And the next piece of news, Simon, also feels a little stale, and I'm not quite so sure I buy the headline here. But what they're saying is that 21 shares new ETF approved pays 6 to 7% staking yield to holders, the first major crypto ETF that earns passive income. I mean, well, we have SSK. I don't know what percentage staking yield they pass on to their holders. Maybe the only thing that makes this headline credible is that it's the first major crypto ETF. But then, how the fuck are we defining major? I have no clue. But yeah, they claim that it's the first major crypto ETF that earns passive income. That just feels wrong to me, like inaccurate. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're defining major.
Yeah. Also, what is this? What is this ETF?
Yeah.
You know.
So it's supposedly, and this is another thing that has really surprised me about this headline, Simon, is that it says that the SEC approved this ETF. And furthermore, they call it a spot ETF on Yahoo Finance. So, like, I don't know who to believe. Is this a spot ETF? Is this, as Coin Bureau says, an ETF that pays staking yield? Can you have a spot ETF that provides staking yield? I don't even. That seems like a yielding ETF to me. But what the fuck do I know?
Okay, then I think I did a quick research, and they have a green light from the US SEC for 21 shares Solana ETF, ticker VSOL, and it is a spot ETF. It holds actual SOL tokens, not derivatives. It's the first major crypto ETF worldwide to bake in staking rewards for holders. The first major crypto, okay, again, same fucking wording. Think of it as Solana's answer to Bitcoin ETFs, just with 6 to 7% annual yield from staking. So yeah, okay, spot exposure plus staking yields in an ETF vehicle. That is pretty bullish.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, I think it's good.
This is another thing that confused me, is that we reported this, a few weeks ago, I think last week maybe. The U.S. government shutdown has temporarily halted SEC reviews of S1 filings recorded for Solana and other spot ETFs to launch. So how did this one sneak through, right? Was this, something that was kind of grandfathered in before the shutdown, like already in process? I'm kind of curious. Does that mean that this one is approved, but other ones will still take time because of the shutdown? I don't know. I mean, the shutdown has been for weeks, but this news came out on October 18th. So yeah, really curious how exactly that happened. Like, how did the SEC manage to? Yeah, no idea.
Yeah,
no idea.
That is something that is really in the shadows. But yeah, as of the October 18th, or between 17 and 22nd of October, they got the official approval from the SEC that trading could start immediately. They are going to be on the SIBO exchange, so that is a little caveat here. It's a rather small exchange that lists this ETF. I think SIBO has been known to be a bit more crypto native and easy to list than compared with the Nasdaq or something.
Yeah, what are we saying about major ETF listings? Come on, man. Like, now we're splitting hairs here.
Yep. I agree. So it's still not but it's, we're getting there.
Yeah. But according to Bloomberg, we have some new stats, some tasty data to look at. There are now 155 crypto ETP filings across 35 digital assets, with Solana leading all crypto assets with 23 filings. I think that they meant to say ETF filings. This is a typo on Solana4's tweet. Clearly, the graphic is talking about ETFs. But yes, and ETPs are a stepping stone to an ETF. So it's that is a real thing, ETPs. But this graphic is clearly showing that Solana is, well, not exactly leading the pack, but matching the pack. Bitcoin also has 23 ETF filings. XRP has 20. Oh, come on, guys. XRP has 20 ETF filings. What the fuck?
I mean, it's crazy how bullish people are on XRP and how it trickled through to retail. Like,
what the hell is
with people that don't know about? Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Am I living under a basket? What's a basket? I want to know what a basket is.
Maybe they mean a basket of assets.
Oh, like an
Like a
actual
basket
basket of.
ETF.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I could
Yeah.
see that. Right. I'm like, is
Like a
that like a
crypto
new
index
chain
fund.
that is that like is that an L2 that I've just never heard of? Basket?
They should maybe highlight it a little bit that it's something different. But I agree. It's confusing. Basket chain.
Yeah.
L1.
There's some funny names on here. We have Doge with 4 different ETF filings.
Why
Trump
not?
has 2 ETF. Yeah, why the fuck not? You're right. Cardano has 3. BNB has 3. Where's Base? Does Base have one?
No,
Base doesn't have.
no.
Boo! Base doesn't have any ETF filings. Bearish.
Maybe they have one. But I think what's funny to me is like literally the XRP with 20 and Litecoin with 5.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I got nothing to say there.
Who
But
buys
okay, cool.
This is like some boomer shit. That's been going on in 2016 or something, Litecoin, when it was hot. What the fuck? Anyway.
I mean, Koreans love XRP, and I don't really know how to explain it. So that is what it is.
Yep.
But speaking of new integrations, some product news, Polymarket has announced full Solana integration. So now you can place your bets on Polymarket with the Sol token, SOL, directly from your Solana wallet. So not only do they have the wallet integration, you can also use Solana to place your bets. So Polymarket obviously started and continues to live on EVM. It remains the best prediction market in the world. Many new use cases coming out of Polymarket, even beyond sports betting or election outcomes or racing, whatever the hell it may be. I've heard from Vibu that we can also start using Polymarket to predict certain outcomes as it pertains to like insurance claims. That would be really interesting, right? Like, will my house burn down? In 2025, you could create literal insurance markets with predictions like that. So it's a pretty powerful tool.
That's interesting.
So yeah,
I guess
I don't know.
use cases with a bit of creativity, right? That we don't think of yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's super interesting. I was ragging on Base earlier, so I will continue to shit on Base a little bit. Sorry, Brian Armstrong. If I ever meet you, it's not personal. Jesse, it's not personal. I'm sure you're a nice guy. Everyone says you're a nice guy, even if your opinions and ideas are a little wonky. But I don't know why I'm being so mean today. But Simon's like, what the fuck is that coming from? I don't know.
Shots fired.
But for literally zero reason. But on Monday, we obviously had some issues with the podcast. We could not get it to stream on Twitter. We found out in a couple of minutes of starting the stream why. The reason for that is because AWS had a major outage affecting half of the internet. And of course, there are many blockchains that are running their architecture on AWS, their validators. So if AWS has a problem, that means that your decentralized blockchain also has a fucking problem. So AWS has this little screenshot here is reading, AWS is having a major outage that is affecting Base infrastructure. We are investigating a reduction in Base network capacity. Solana did not have this problem. In fact, looking at some of the data, I think only 10% of stake on Solana is hosted on AWS. And so like we did not run into that problem. That being said, my friend Richard was pointing out that over 50% of our stake is concentrated into 3 other services. I think it's like Temporal or like a couple of, I forget exactly what those services are. But it's not like we don't have some existential risk. It's like AWS is one of the bigger, cloud infrastructure companies in the world. But yeah, like 50%, over 50% of Solana stake lives in 3 other server cloud services. So we still have some issues to solve there. Switch to bare metal.
What does that mean?
Bare metal services. You should run your own servers.
Right. Yeah. I mean, okay, fuck. I think that might be probably the best solution, but also the most difficult one to pull off. But I think Solana posted, I'm just looking for it, but I don't find it. I found it. Solana post-mortem reveals Solana leads all major crypto networks in performance performance during the AWS outage with no throughput impact. Additionally, Solana is number 1 in resilience, with by far the lowest percent of stake residing in AWS. So if you put up my screen, resilient leaders and risk cases, most resilient network Solana, with a resilience index of 97 and highest risk network base. So I love this because they've been shitting on us for so long, especially like, oh, you're so centralized and or you go down every time, blah, blah. Guys, these times are over. It's over. It's like we're done with this. Like there's no fucking outage anymore. And we're now even leading in resilience in some of these global internet dramas that just happened this week. I'm really thankful that AWS went down because this helped Solana to showcase what they can do. Every time something crazy happens these days, like something breaks in the internet or on Solana, it is actually really good for the network eventually because we always come back stronger. I feel, you know what I mean?
Right. And actually, I found the tweet by Richard, which is that Solana runs on Latitude, TerraSwitch, and OVH, and the combined stake on those services is over 50%. And someone asked in the comments, oops, wrong click. Someone asked in the comments, like, what exactly do you mean? And he's all like, well, this could easily happen to other cloud service providers. So, this is kind of like a low quality lab. I still think it's a valid point that we have like 10% of our stake on AWS, and that we have really high network resiliency. I still think that's a fair point. But also Richard's point seems to be equally fair.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We always have to look at both sides of the coin, right? To be fair here. Obviously, Sol Brothers are inherently bullish on Solana, but we don't want to disregard of any critique, right? We want to embrace them and look at it. So, we still have some systematic risks. Let's put it that way. I think we should realize that.
Absolutely. And there's this other piece of news. I don't fucking know how we missed this from the show notes. I just added it because it's happening literally today at 1 p.m. UTC. If I'm not mistaken, that's in just a couple of hours, my friend. And the Met token is going live. Congratulations to Zen, to Mir, to Soju, to the entire Meteora team. We're behind you. I could probably talk about this, this specific event for like 5 to 10 minutes just because it's so fucking massive. They've gotten through such a long journey to get here, especially with all the stuff that happened with Libra. It's so painful to say that word. What happened with Libra, Simon?
You remember when we covered this? we did some good clips from that episode as well. It was in Hong Kong, right? I think we've been in Hong Kong during that time. And let's just say Meteora went through some difficulties and some shitstorms because there's things going on in this ecosystem sometimes in the inside, and people are suspicious, and then fingers are being pointed and CEOs are being fired, and a bit of drama here and there. But that's not the news of today. Today, the Meteora token goes live. People have been waiting for it. There's 2 airdrop eligibility criteria, the main ones, which is 2024 liquidity provisioning activities and 2025, and both have different weights. So I think if you've been in the 2024 camp, you have more. 2025 also gets a share, and then there's a bunch of other airdrop eligibilities. Jupiter stakers get something, obviously the LP army contributors and so on. You find everything if you go on the Meteora .ag site, and there's a banner that leads you to the token, to the TGE news. And let's see if this thing is going to fly. I think it's going to be a multi-billion token.
Do you think so? I mean,
I think it's going to be a multi-billion token, but it's also going to be a token that gets quite some sell pressure because of that, because I think it's going to be high value with quite some unlocks. But I trust that they know what they're doing. So I'm pretty sure they have some shit in place.
I mean, one thing I'll say is that this is one of the most well-executed TGEs I've seen in recent memory. Like everything from the coordination to the sex listings, to the plan, to the tokenomics, to the communications, even some of the innovations here, right? Like one thing I find super interesting is the liquidity NFTs. So essentially, there are 2 ways that you could have gotten these liquidity NFTs. The first way is just to be a jupe staker, and then whatever Met allocation you have is represented in that NFT. And the second way you could have got it is that they had a vault that got filled up like 93%, where you could, pledge how much MET you wanted to represent that liquidity NFT. And what that NFT does is it earns fees from block 0, right? So like any bot or any anybody that's trying to buy tokens from from the liquidity that is in Meteora is going to be accruing fees. And those fees go directly to the NFT holders. Yes, if the token shoots up, you will be losing some value because I think the range is anywhere from 50 cents to $7.50, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's the range that your liquidity will be distributed in. So like if by some fucking miracle Meteora goes past $7.5, then you will be completely sold out. But I think the theory is that it'll be trading within that range, and so you'll be earning all those fees from Box 0, both USDC as well as MET. So that's really fucking cool, man.
MET. It's very unfortunate that MET in German means raw minced beef, and we eat it on a bread. It's so disgusting. I hate it. So when I hear MET, I'm like, why would you call it token that way? But it's a German thing. Do you know this food? What I'm talking about? Like literally
it's just beef, just beef tartare.
It is kind of, but it's like on a white bread. It's like so.
Is the white bread toasted?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's just it's a bun. It's a very simple dish.
We'll just call it MET from now on. Does that make you feel a little better?
Yeah, sounds very good. By the way, the MET landing page seems to be down right now. If you go to met.meteor.ag, it doesn't really load for me. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Go away.
Yeah.
It's not like I throw this in the pan. Like that's what I do with it. But I wouldn't put it in my mouth.
For our listeners on the podcast, I just showed a picture of my phone screen on camera with MET, and Simon is disgusted. He's like
a lot of Germans really they run on this. It's their fuel. Anyway, moving on. What else do we got?
Yeah. So we had a really fun little exchange in the community over the last couple of days because Fabiano showed this screenshot of Toli's GitHub. You can see Avanyenko, which is his real name. He's obviously using Claude AI to code. He does a lot of not vibe coding, but he does work with AI quite a bit. And he has this perps text called Percolator, and you can look at this description: a sharded perpetual exchange protocol for Solana, implementing design from plan.md. And this set the ecosystem on fire. People were asking a shit ton of questions. Basically, holy shit, is Toli working on a DEX? Like, what is going on? And he did provide some clarification in a quote tweet. What he said was, I am just messing around with Claude AI to see how well it can generate Pinocchio and test with Surfpool. And he also urges people to please steal the idea. I had to do a little bit of research about what this fucking shit means. So generating Pinocchio, Pinocchio is actually a Rust library that does not use any outside dependencies. It doesn't use as many abstractions either, which means that it's not as fun to code with because you have to write all the code manually yourself as opposed to using fun little libraries that abstract core concepts for you. But it gives you more control and obviously more efficient code. So if you're really trying to push performance, you'd want to use Pinocchio versus anything else. And Surfpool is apparently a way to pull real on-chain data into your test code so that it can kind of simulate real network activity. So essentially what he was saying is that, like, bro, I was just fucking around with Claude, and you guys are taking this shit too seriously.
Yeah, I think I can actually really well imagine what went through his head because he's the founder of Solana, right? Co-founder of Solana. He's like a big daddy of this ecosystem, and he has a very inherent interest in Solana performing very well, not only from a financial point of view, but also because he loves the tech, right? Like he came up with the fucking base infrastructure. So he wants this to succeed. He wants this to outperform others. He wants Solana to be better than everyone else. And you can tell by the way he tweets, right? And it makes sense. I would believe the same. Now he's looking at Hyperliquid, he's looking at Aster, he's looking at all these perp dexes and their crazy success because these guys are fucking printing, like especially in the past. Hyperliquid has like $100 billion monthly volume. Aster has $14 billion daily volume these days. So that's insane numbers. Now with Percolator, the name is fucking ridiculous. Percolator, whatever. With this product, I think it's not about him launching a DEX, right? It's him just fucking around with the tech that we have on Solana, trying to build something or to build the core infrastructure or the core kind of base of something that could outperform on technical level all these other dexes on other ecosystems, right? So he wants to just create the case for Solana being better for perp dex. And I guess this is also just a nod towards all the ones that are building in the space right now on Solana, because we do have a few people that are building exactly in this space. Obviously, Flash Trade, to mention one perp dex that is really trying to accelerate things and improving on it. But we also have completely new ones like Bulk Trade or some of these others that are kind of tinkering in that market. Yeah, interesting.
I think moves. One other interesting piece of commentary here is that he said, I want to see if it's possible to replicate the same prop AMM competition for spot, but for perps. And the reason why that matters is because one of the issues with, let's say, Solana perps versus Hyperliquid perps is that Hyperliquid has super deep liquidity for ridiculous token pairs across all different ecosystems. Like that is a really huge competitive advantage. And we just do not have that on Solana, right? Like the ways that we try to get liquidity for perps dexes, like just taking, let's say, Jupiter, for example, is they're using JLP, right? And JLP only allows, because it's inspired by GMX architecture, for like 50%, approximately 50% stablecoin allocation in JLP, and the other 50% is exposure to Sol, ETH, and BTC, which is great for the type of DEX that perps are, right? But if you're trying to create a Hyperliquid style DEX where you have deep liquidity or at least sufficient liquidity for all of these different token pairs across a variety of ecosystems, you would want ideally a bunch of competing prop AMMs. We've seen like insane volume in prop AMMs for spot buys, which is what he's talking about. But we don't have such a mechanism for perps. Why is Pinocchio and Surfpool important to test out whether or not it's possible to have prop AMM competition for perps liquidity? I don't fucking know, but totally does. So I'm going to trust the man there.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks for unpacking this a little bit more. Makes sense. Makes sense.
And of course, we have a word from our sponsors, and starting off with their friends over at Solflare. Not sure where to start in Web3? Well, you're in the right place with us at Solflare. Dive into Crypto 101 series, how staking works, why every Solana user should care, and how you should stake your soul. Solflare actually has a really big, staking bag. It's I think about like 2 million SOL, if I'm not mistaken. And as a wallet, it makes a lot of sense to be directing your users to stake. So you can transform your soul experience here. So Solflare.com, Crypto 101. What is staking in crypto? A beginner's guide. So I think this is really, really nifty and something you should read for sure if you don't know what staking is.
And then if you pull up my screen, you can also see how it works in action, because if you're going to your favorite Solflare wallet, you can pop up this little corner icon here and it will bring you right into the wallet tab that you can access as well. And then here you will be able to enter the staking tab as well, and you can stake now, and you can go ahead and you'll have the Solflare validator selected with a 6% APY, and you can full port all your wealth into that validator to get some API directly from your assets that are most likely being idle, just waiting to go up. That's usually what we do with our tokens. But you can stake right within the wallet, either here in the tab or obviously in the browser extension as well.
Yeah, I think one thing I'd love to highlight to folks who are curious about staking and maybe don't know much about the technical bits is that you will always accumulate more SOL. Now, depending on the price of SOL, that doesn't mean that the dollar amount and the USD amount will be more than when you staked, right? But for the sake of argument, if you put in 100 SOL and you have 6% APY, like Solflare, actually 6.11% APY. With Solflare, then you will come out with, if you were to pull your stake out after a year, you should get about 106 SOL back, right? How much is that SOL worth? Hopefully significantly more than when you staked, but you will always come out on top, at least as it pertains to SOL denomination. So yeah, you should definitely be staking your SOL, and do consider Solflare. Another thing that we definitely want to talk about is what's going on in the world of SNS. SNS is truly a global company, not only in terms of its employees. I know that they have folks from like literally all over the world, but also in terms of their communities. So they have a bunch of new SNS Twitter accounts. Actually, some have probably been around for a very long time. And they're just highlighting all the different communities that they have, obviously in different languages. We have SNS China, SNS Spain, France, Nigeria, India, Vietnam, as well as Japan. So what's really cool about this, and I think our listeners will know this, but we'd love to hammer this point home, is that SNS domains are not just in Latin characters. You don't have to buy it just in English or whatever. You can use Spanish, Chinese, Nigerian,
Cool.
French, Japanese, Chinese, Korean. It doesn't fucking matter. Any language that you want to buy a .sol domain in, you can absolutely do. So the world speaks NSNS. And another thing too, and this I think I was a little surprised by this. It seems like the vote failed. It said had the vote gone all the way, these prices might have been set in stone. But apparently, I guess the vote did not pass for whatever reason. So I want to do a little bit more research there. But at least for the time being, you can buy Chinese .sol names with these lucky prices. We've talked about this multiple times on the show so far, but 2, 3, 4 character Chinese .sol names will be very heavily discounted. And it seems like the governance proposal for whatever reason did not pass. So these will not last forever. Yes, it will last until November 8th. So am I mistaken there, Simon?
I scroll down again because there was one post that looked like they had a really high percentage of going it through. Had the vote go all the way, these prices might have been set in stone. Interesting. I think it might turn last minute because I think that they were leading the people that wanted the new price structure for quite some time. But then, yeah, it seemed like something happened. I think it's this link, yeah, the third one. There's the realms, yeah, that should. Oh, this coin market cap. Oh, okay, no, I don't know what that is. Yeah, we're gonna dive into this a little bit more and see if we can make sense of it. But yeah, I mean, for now, you can get the prices either way because there's a special sale going on for SNS.
Yeah,
and that brings us. Yep, go ahead.
To our friends over at Flash Trade.
Exactly.
And they had a really nice post, over the last couple of days, about yesterday, actually. What does the FAF token actually do? I know for a fact that Anas is going to be giving a great talk over at Breakpoint about what on-chain ownership looks like. And I think Flash Trade does not get enough credit for the innovations that they have pushed with on-chain ownership, specifically as it pertains to protocol revenue. They're one of the first to do it. And for whatever reason, haven't really been able to capitalize on that narrative. And so, we want to shine a really bright spotlight on what the FAF token does. In fact, Simon has talked about it multiple times. But Simon, since you're the resident Flash Trade FAF expert, will you please tell us what's going on here?
So I think they've been doing a really unique thing, first and foremost, by launching a token completely fair, like fair launch from day one. No team allocation, no incentive allocations, no sales, nothing. No investors that got money. The token was just out there in the community. People can buy it. The team needs to buy it as well if they want to have some share of it, right? If the team wants to get some allocation for some marketing activities or whatever, they need to do a governance proposal, and then people that are holding FAF can vote on it. So that's that. Now the FAF token itself accrues revenue from Flash Trade the protocol, right? So 50% of all the protocol fees, they go to FAF stakers. If you own FAF, you put your FAF to work, and this is how it looks like. I'm on the FAF platform right now with just a random wallet here, and if you own FAF in your wallet, you can basically just put it here into the stake pool. It has a 30-day kind of unstaking period. You can also unstake it immediately, but it will cost you, I think, a certain percentage. Not sure again how much exactly. If you want to get the unstake directly, but if you just want to stake your tokens, keep them in there. That's a good idea because you'll get a rev share. And that is 50% of all revenue being shared between FAF stakers. And then you will also enter the rewards program, which is a FAF incentive program. So you will also accrue FAF every 30 days during one epoch, basically, from the total FAF incentive pool. And the cool thing is, last but not least, that your actual trading activity also factors in here, because if you accrue the so-called voltage points, you will level up your journey, and you will get a FAF multiplier to your FAF rewards at the end of the epoch. So revenue share always trickling in every single day, right? You get your rev share from your FAF stake, but the 30-day epoch kind of output is gonna come after you wait 30 days, and your multiplier is going to increase the amount you're actually getting out of there. Now, I opened along earlier, and we are not in profit. So we're since we're here, but it's looking not too bad. I have the 1 minute chart. I have the degen mode on. I have a 150x when I entered the trade, and right now the price is just moving sideways a little bit, but there's this uptrend here. Obviously, we're in the 1 minute chart on Solana, very unreliable time frame to trade in. I do not really condone this kind of behavior, but if you want to trade with more than 100x, then you can do it on Flash Trade. Actually, can go up to 500x. So I keep this trade open until this line breaks, the support line here. And that's going to be my stop loss. I'll set it around 187.9, I would say. So that's where we're going to make sure that we're only losing maximum of $6.65 plus the trading fees. And if it works out, we won't lose it, and we will go all the way up, and I will cash out somewhere here. So let's see how that goes. Right now, I'll just keep it open until later today and see what happens.
Yeah. Hopefully we see a trend reversal. I actually am probably going to get in trouble in just a second, because this is the second podcast in a row where I locked my wife out of the house, and she was just waiting for me. I know, it happened on Monday too. So that's why I left camera for a second, because I realized
I didn't even
could not get in the house.
You see, I'm yapping away here. I didn't even recognize you're gone. So all good. No one knows. No one knows. Shout out to wifey to accept the way you are.
Yeah, she goes through a lot of shit, including me locking her out of the house while I'm doing this fucking podcast. And I'm very sorry for that, honey. By the way,
coming to an end, though.
Yes, we are at the very, very end. But there's one last thing that I want to cover, just going back to SNS. It actually got 92% yes vote. Oh, no, we don't need that screen, Nick. Thank you very much. But it actually did get 92% yes votes. But it just quorum was not reached, so not enough people voted. So they'll probably want to play around with the quorum numbers. Yeah. So that's why we were so sure that it passed, and technically it did. It just didn't have enough people who voted on it. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Okay.
Right. Well. Okay, whatever. Let's wrap it up today. If you don't have anything else for the people in the audience, then thank you so much for listening to Soul Brothers Pod, and we'll catch you at the next one. We will be there again for you next week, Monday, with a fresh live stream. If you want to listen to the live streams, then head over to Twitter. Every Monday, every Thursday, we are here usually in the morning time in Europe, in the afternoon time in Asia, and somewhere in the night in the US. So if you're US based, sorry for the live stream times, but it is what it is right now. But make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also make sure to tune in to our exclusive interviews that we're doing these days, because we have really good ones that came out in the past couple of days, and we have more great ones that are coming out in the next days. And we'll have also new ones that we're going to be live streaming next week and the week after with some really high profile individuals from the Solana ecosystem and beyond. So, yep, stay tuned for more of the Sol Brothers. For now, thank you so much. You'll have a good day, and we'll see you at the next one.
Adios.
Oi, this is a cut. Live stream still here, so keep your clothes on, what are we doing next? Do we have any? We don't have timeline reactions for today, right?
No. Yes. So I actually got to go.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everybody. We are ending the stream. Adios. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. See ya.